Hi, and welcome back to Ask Dr. B. Today, I'm going to be talking about physical activity. It is another in this series that I've been doing on another video in this series. This series is focused on well-being. It is what we here at Weeby are all about. We're very invested in making sure that everybody understands how important these 6 elements of well-being, how important they are, how important each one is independently, how they affect each other, how important it is to learn how to track them, to pay attention to them daily, how important it is to have information about resources that can help you address challenges with each of them. And ultimately, how important it is to share how you are doing across these elements with people you trust. All of that is going to be available to everyone very soon because this fall we're launching Weeby. And if you want to get on the mailing list, the emailing list, to be alerted when Weeby is available for you to download for free, you can go to weebylife.com and sign up, and we'll let you know. So today I'm going to talk about physical activity, how it is one of those critical elements for our overall well-being. We all probably think, that's probably pretty self-evident that our physical activity is very much connected to how well we are doing physically, our physical well-being. We may not recognize as readily how our physical activity also affects things like our relationships. Well, how might that even work? What does that look like? So let's say that I'm being very sedentary. My mood is down. So seriously, my mood is also affecting my ability to feel like getting up and about. So maybe my mood is down, or maybe physically, my physical health is affecting my activity. I don't feel good enough to go out for my usual brisk walk or my swim. And so my mood maybe is down. Physically, I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling very much like going out. So I'm not active. Maybe I'm not sleeping well. All of these things can affect how I am in my relationships with others. So all of these elements are interrelated. We can improve our overall well-being by working on those that are perhaps areas that we're struggling in right now. And that's what Weeby is all about. So before I get into specifics about physical activity, I want to say a couple of things. One is that we are focused on 6 elements of well-being: our emotional experience, our relationships, our physical health, our physical activity, our sleep, and our spirituality. There are other elements that are important to one's overall well-being. Some people might be very focused, understandably, on their financial well-being, especially given the struggles that we've had over the last several years with the global economy, the economy here in the U.S. Financial well-being is a real issue for a lot of people, and so that is something that understandably is important to be aware of, to track, to address. We're not focused on that element right now. That doesn't mean we might not learn from all of you and weave that in as we go forward. But I just want to say that there are other things, but we feel like if we are all tuned into these 6 that we're focused on, and we pay attention to them and we address them, and we're keeping all of them, we're nurturing them and taking care of these aspects of our well-being as best we can, we are going to be in much better shape to address whatever else comes our way. So I just want to say that. Last thing I want to call out is spirituality. I've talked about how spirituality for some people is really important for their well-being, and for other people, maybe not so much. But if we think about this one that I'm going to talk about today, this element, which is activity, your physical activity, how is that related to spirituality, or how is spirituality related to that? Are they connected at all? I think so. When I take a hike out in the woods, when I'm swimming, I often get into a space that is it's great. It's different perspective. It's me outside of myself. And so I feel that that contributes to my spirituality, my sense of me and the world and my beliefs and my ideas and how I think about myself and others. Similarly, if I'm in a great place spiritually, I'm much more inclined to take better care of myself, to get out and move because I know it's good for me. So they're all interrelated. And we here at Weeby just want to make sure that everything that we can do to encourage people to take care of themselves and the people they love is a good thing for all of us. All right. So let's start with a definition of physical activity. It's probably, again, kind of self-evident, but let me tell you what the World Health Organization says about physical activity. WHO defines physical activity as any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that requires the expenditure of energy. So the good news is that's a huge list. So we talked about already brisk walking, getting up and going out and walking briskly, swimming, which is my thing, biking, running, hiking, dancing, love dancing, organized sports, going out to play hoops or volleyball. All of those are great examples of physical activity. So you have a lot of things to choose from. And there are guidelines for how much you should be choosing to do those things. So for adults over the age of 18, you want to have as your goal 150 to 30 minutes a week of moderate to intense physical activity. I think they call it moderate intensity aerobic physical activity each week in that 150 to 300 minute. Okay. So you can spread it out. You should. It shouldn't be like doing 150 minutes in one day and then you're done for the week. It's better if you break it up and do 30 minutes a day or maybe 45 minutes every other day. And some of us, have our rhythm, our routine of what we do. I swim a couple times a week. I walk briskly. We have a puppy. She's still a puppy. She needs a lot of exercise. So that, pulls me out into the world every day to get her exercise and mine. So that's what you should keep in mind, that 150 to 300. Now, adults should also engage in strengthening activities, exercises using weights that are appropriate for your size and under supervision and guidance and all of that, so you know what you're doing and you don't hurt yourself. So you should be doing some work with weights, strengthening exercises. Again, people 18 and older, so it's a little different and we have these guidelines that I'll put at the end of this video. Muscle strengthening activities at moderate or greater intensity that involve all major muscle groups 2 or more days a week. That's for adults ages 18 to 64. And strength training that also emphasizes functional balance for adults 65 and older, 3 or more days a week. Now, for the balance, I love Tai Chi. And I think yoga is great. So for older adults, for all adults, but older adults in particular, because falls are more likely as we get older and they're dangerous. So do your 150 to 300 minutes, break it up into some of these activities that I've talked about, include strength, some, weight training for adults that are under 65 and older 65, and that balance, those balance activities especially for adults over 65. So that's a little bit about the guidelines, about what that should include. You can mix it up. You can choose different things that work for you, but have that in your mind so that as we talk about goal setting, you can be thinking about, I really love to swim. I love to hike. I love to bike. Okay. We know that it's good for our physical health and our energy level. It's good, get those endorphins moving, in us, flowing, pumping, heart pumping. It's good for our moods, good for our emotional health and well-being. It also protects us and prevents disease. So we know that maintaining this level of physical exercise through our lives is good in that it reduces the likelihood of heart disease and stroke and diabetes. several forms of cancer, hypertension, helps you maintain a good body weight. All of these helps you sleep well, which is good for restoring. So much good about engaging in physical activity. But if you haven't been physically active, or if you have any concerns about being physically active, please consult your healthcare professional. Make sure that you develop a program and a strategy that is healthy for you. Set small goals to get you back out there. You don't have to do that 150 minutes the first week. So now I'm going to shift and talk a little bit about what might interfere with our ability to maintain our goal of being active every week. So some of the things, again, self-evident, but it's important to just sort of think about these things and be aware of them. So it could be that we're dealing with something that really makes us feel poorly and physically. So maybe we're dealing with, COVID, or some other virus, or the flu, or maybe we strained our back when we were, gardening. So important to take it easy. Don't push it. Don't try to get back out there. Make sure if it's an illness that you're talking with your healthcare professionals so that you're back on track in a safe and healthy way. It could be that you're feeling overwhelmed by other demands of life. So you're balancing your career with your kids, with your partner, with trying to take care of, the obligations you have maybe to where you volunteer. It could be a lot of stuff. Totally get it. I understand that. Again, physical activity, getting your heart pumping and your endorphins going will actually help you with all that other stuff. So schedule the time, make it, a priority so that you're actually benefiting from that physical activity to help you manage those other things. You also may be feeling just lethargic, just no energy. That could be a health issue. Want to have that checked out. Could be a mental health issue. Want to have that checked out to make sure that there isn't something that's sort of on you. Could be a nutrition issue. Again, have that checked out so that you can be free to be active. So let's say you've done all of that. You've set your goals. You've decided what activities you want to do. You've talked to your healthcare professional. There's no reason for you not to be out and about. You know what things are safe for you, what things are healthy for you, what things you should be doing. But you're having trouble. It's just not happening. You may think every day, disappointment in yourself, which we don't want that. We want you to feel proud of yourself and hopeful that you can get there. And you can if you set realistic, incremental steps. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about how to help you. What are perhaps some other tools or techniques or strategies so that you can be active? Again, you can mix it up. You can do a lot of different things. If you like going to a gym and being around other people, great. If you hate that, but really like to get out in the outdoors, great. If you want to get a stationary bike at home, great. If you want to get a puppy to make sure you're out, all of that is fine. It all works. So figure out what you want to do, and then set a goal for yourself. So think about that 150 to 300 minutes a week. You can chop it up into, let's say, if I do 30 minutes a day, or if I do 30 minutes 5 days a week, that's good. I'm at that lower end. That's good. Or if I do 20 minutes of vigorous activity a day, that's pretty darn close. Maybe one of the days I can do 30 or 40 minutes. So set a reasonable goal. But if you're just getting back to this, start with a smaller goal. 10 minutes a day, 10-minute brisk walk. It's fine. 10 minutes on the stationary bike, 10 minutes of dancing. It's all fine. So set a goal that you know you can meet. Track your goal. Track your progress. Journal, keep a journal. Track it on your phone. If you have a wearable that'll track it for you, great. Soon you'll have Weebie and we'll be able to help you track it. So track it so that you can see how you're doing. Reward yourself for that progress. If you have a setback, try not to be too discouraged or too hard on yourself. It's okay. We all have setbacks. It's okay. Just set the next goal and start again. Engage a friend. Get someone who is also working on their physical activity or their overall well-being or wellness. Get active with them and share the rewards. You can set a goal for yourselves and then take yourselves out for a nice lunch or do something fun, go to a movie that you both enjoy. Mutual support is so helpful, so helpful. And soon, again, through Weeby, you'll be able to engage with a community that is all about supporting each other. So let me just make sure that I have not forgotten. I always want to make sure I share all the tips that I've thought of in the lead up to these, so that when you see me looking, I'm checking my notes to make sure. Last thing I just want to share, and I mentioned it before, but to reiterate, if you're trying and you've done all these tips and you're still not able to stick with it, probably useful then to find out if maybe investing in, for short term, either a counselor or a coach who focuses on well-being can help really do the work with you that's needed to get you over whatever the block is that's preventing you from doing this thing that you want to do to take care of yourself. I'm going to stop there. Next video in this series will focus on sleep and how our sleep affects us, which I've shared bits and pieces throughout. So we'll review all of that, and we'll talk about some tips to help you with your sleep if you're having challenges and struggles, which we all do at various points in life, depending on what's going on. And lastly, I'll do a video on spirituality as an important element focused on that affects our well-being. As I said, maybe not for everyone, but it's probably an interesting video to watch if it isn't something that it affects your well-being, because someday it might. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about your well-being and the well-being of those you love. And I look forward to sharing more information. Together, we really can be